All right, guys, welcome to this new video. I've decided to record this because I get to speak to a lot of e-commerce founders every single week. And what I've found is that they've all been lied to some extent. Okay. Every single founder that I speak with doesn't believe in fast growth anymore. They believe in slow and steady growth. Whereas, I preach steady but very fast growth, right? So this video will be about how to acquire $1 million plus worth of customers for your e-commerce brand in 6 months or less using this exact three-step project growth model. And we're going to also address the golden ratio. Now, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Is it physically possible to achieve it? The short answer is obviously yes. The nuanced answer is that you need the proper infrastructure to make it unreasonable for you not to add an extra $1 million to your rev. Okay. Now, just for proof's sake, here are a few instances of successful e-commerce brands that have done just that. Now, one of them, being in the fashion industry, scaled from 6K, so $6,000 in monthly recurring revenue, to $57,000 in just 4 months. So we basically added 50K in monthly recurring revenue in a few months, and we're on pace to crack the 100K mark in the next few weeks. Now, another one here in the leather goods industry went from 5K to 120K in less than 12 months. Now that's an increase of I don't know how many percentages, but it's literally an added $115,000 in monthly recurring revenue in just a few months, and we're on pace to crack the 200K mark in the next few months. Now, the third one, being in the jewelry industry, went from 56,000 to 92,000 in 30 days. So again, we added an extra 35K here, not too shabby. The next one and the last one, obviously, being an evolution from 28,000 to 50K, right? So that's a double in revenue in just or a double or so in just 30 days. So that's pretty steep in terms of growth curves. It shows that it is possible. Now, the other aspect of this is that the harsh truth is you've been lied to. You've been lied to by agencies that pitch you every single day. You've been lied to by your favorite gurus. You've been lied to by the entire e-commerce marketing space as a whole because they want you to be dependent on them. Okay, they don't want fast growth because with fast growth, you can basically they become obsolete. Their service becomes obsolete, or their with whatever they're selling becomes obsolete. Now, before I dive into explaining what you've been lied about, here's why this video will be extremely important for you to watch. Because you're most likely an e-commerce founder who wants sustainable growth for your brand, but you're tired of Facebook's unpredictability. You've been sold on Facebook ads are the best way to scale your business. Facebook ads are this, Facebook ads are that. You're basically sick of agencies burning you every single month. You feel as though your business is stagnating. You're hitting a plateau in your growth, whatever that level is. You feel as though time is slipping from your hands. That's a very, very common problem. And to be frank, and let's be frank together, you just want to sit back, reflect on the long-term moves of your business, and not have to worry about how to smash through the glass ceiling. You don't want to worry about where the next sale is going to come from. You don't want to worry about optimizing your emails, about optimizing your ads. That's not what a seven-figure owner or an eight-figure owner does, right? Those aren't revenue generating activities or high leverage activities, as I like to call them. Now, you also have a great product, right? Your customers love it, but you just can't seem to put it in enough hands, right? Or get it in the hands of more people. Okay. Now, all of this that I mentioned is not your fault. All these agencies pitching you every single day that have been focused on selling you a higher ROAS, they're wrong. One agency is going to sell you on a 5x, the other one is going to pitch you a 20x next Tuesday. All of these amateurs, they fail to understand that business growth goes way beyond a single metric and a single channel. And that's the issue. They sell you on ROAS because it's the only thing they know and understand, although many of them, they don't actually know how to deliver on their promises. And I can basically assure you that a lot of people watching this video will be in that bucket, right? Having been burnt in the past by agencies, service providers, freelancers, whatever the case may be. That's a different story. The truth is, you can take your e-commerce brand to your first million or make even a few more by internalizing this key concept here. Now, what I say is that it starts and ends here. The LTV to CAC ratio is the golden number that I was talking about in the beginning. Now, What you want to understand is that this ratio should always be above 3 at a minimum. Now, what I say is that this is the golden number when it comes to true exponential growth for your e-commerce brand. I'm not talking about a fancy, fictional number on Facebook Ads Manager where you see a 20x, but you can't really reflect that on your bottom line revenue, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about true exponential growth in the metric that we all care about, which is revenue, right? We basically need to make sure that the value that you extract through the entire relationship, so this is the explanation of this ratio, we need to make sure that the value you extract throughout the entire relationship you have with your average customer is much bigger than the cost to acquire that customer. Okay? If you can get this right and stay consistent, you're on the straightest and shortest path to 8 figures. And I can end this video here, okay? Because no one does that, right? Now, how can you as a founder execute on that? How does one play with this magic number? How does one execute on these strategies, etc., etc.? How can you get your LTV to CAC ratio above a 3? Well, there's a 3-step process to that, and I'm going to share it with you right now. Now, step number 1 is what I call an FU offer. Obviously, no disrespect intended, but what I call an FU offer is an offer that is too good to be passed on. It's an offer that a potential customer is scrolling on Instagram, Facebook, be it TikTok, Pinterest, whatever the case may be, Google, that customer would be very, very, it wouldn't be very smart for him to go past that offer. He would feel bad about scrolling past it, right? So we're already throwing off throwing the additional, so we're already throwing the traditional 15% off out of the window because these offers are basically useless on their own. And a lot of brands are actually leveraging these offers as their go-to offers, right? But to be honest with you, the marketplace is numb to these offers. We need to be more creative. So to create a good offer, what you need to know are your LTV, your AOV, your COGS, and your repeat customer rate. Now, I trust that as a business owner, a 6-figure business owner, a 5-figure business owner, even a 7-figure business owner, you know these numbers. If you don't, please pause this video, go crunch your numbers, and then come back to this, right? Because once you know them, then you can start actually modeling and simulating your offers. You can say, okay, let's run an offer that says, I don't know, buy X get Y free, or let's do the the quantity breakdown strategy, or whatever the case, whatever offer you choose, let's try it. But before you try it, you actually need to run your numbers to make sure that you choose an offer that is basically economically viable for you, right? It's not about choosing what looks good on paper. It's actually choosing what looks good on paper, testing it, and basically, knowing that the numbers make sense for you, and then running the offer, and obviously going with that, right? So we want to run simulations. We want to know how much profit we're making, what are the profit margins, what's the break-even cost per acquisition, and what's the break-even ROAS or return on spend, okay? 99% of e-commerce brands don't simulate their offers prior to running them, and that's an issue, right? And that's an edge that you can basically, start having today. Simulation will basically give you your break-even ROAS, like I said, and your break-even cost per acquisition, which will then act as your northern star when you're advertising. Because if you're advertising, or if your service provider or your agency are advertising offers that they don't know what the break-even is, what the break-even ROAS or the break-even cost per acquisition is, they're basically telling you that they don't know how much they can spend to acquire a customer. They have no idea what they're doing. And as long as they see a fancy number on Facebook, right, which is obviously a lie, then they're good. They basically fulfilled their end of the bargain, but you're left with, money going down the drain on Facebook. You're left with a revenue level that doesn't change. And you're basically paying these people to run your ads, whereas they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so you definitely want to have a North Star when advertising. Okay, and your North Star should be precise numbers, not just we're going to run ads. Okay. Step 2, promote. Like I said, once you know what offer you're running based on the simulations, you basically need to base your assumptions on, like I said, the simulations. You need to know your numbers, but you also base it on what you know the customers want, right? So based on these two aspects, you start promoting. Okay, so advertising will give you the eyeballs faster, which will allow you to act and pivot faster if necessary. Okay, Because the issue here is that a lot of brands try offers on their organic traffic, or they're trying offers at low scale. They don't have statistical significance. They don't get fast feedback, and so they can't iterate fast. Right? In this marketplace, you need to be in a position where you need to be in a position where you iterate fast. Okay. So promotion needs to be holistic. We need a global approach. It's not about Facebook ads anymore. It's not about the ATM machine, the platform that is an ATM machine. All platforms are not ATM machines. They're cogs in a global machine. So if you think about your acquisition department or your acquisition infrastructure as a machine, every single platform that you use and leverage will be a cog. It will be a part of a global machine, right? So we need a global approach that guarantees high quality and cheap eyeballs. For this, you need a symbiotic relationship between paid media and paid search. So depending on what you're selling, obviously, all products don't sell equally on platforms. You need to know you need to know where your customers are, and you need to leverage the platforms that they're in. So first of all, you've got Facebook and Instagram ads, still very powerful if leveraged correctly. Google ads, underrated but extremely helpful to stay top of mind in your customer's head. TikTok ads, necessary to have content infrastructure, obviously, because it's very, very carnivore in content. And you need to have a proper infrastructure to produce high quality content fast and at scale. Pinterest and Snapchat are basically niche platforms that are product specific, but that remain great alternatives if you know what you're doing and if you know that your products are actually tailored for that specific platform. Now, the key to promotion is to know what your objective is. Are you trying to acquire as many customers as possible, even at a loss to potentially sell your business in 2 to 3 years? Or are you trying to acquire customers faster than your competitor, knowing that you can spend more than them because you know your numbers and they don't, right? And I can assure you that a lot of customers or a lot of clients that we brought on board didn't actually know their numbers. A lot of brands that we talk with every single week don't actually know their numbers, and that's a problem. But that's also an opportunity for you to leverage if you want to grow fast and go past your competitors. So the the last option will basically get you to, So the last option will get you to your 7 and 8 figure ambitions faster than the first option. Once you know what you're trying to achieve, the best way to run ads is to provide contextual experiences to your customers. So you need typically at least 3 different angles for your ads to start with. Obviously, that's not across the whole marketing initiative. It's really to start with. And you need to make sure that these angles speak to a different pain point, a solution, a benefit, something that will speak to your customers so that they'll be intrigued enough to go past the first touch point. Now, the last step is to retain. Once we've acquired customers, we want to be able to retain them, guys. That's super, super important, and it's really overlooked. And that's where the big lie is you've been sold on acquisition, where it's like you're spinning your wheels, and it's like a hamster wheel where you're basically looking for the next customer to acquire, not really paying attention to all of those that you've acquired in the past. So you're losing the customers, but then you're acquiring them at the same rate. That's why you're not growing. So once you're comfortably, able to acquire customers and you're not worried about where the next sale is going to come from, you're in a very good spot, right? Unless you're in that position, you really can't scale your business, okay? However, if you're in this good spot, there's still risk that all of these efforts could go to zero if you don't have the proper backend infrastructure, right? Which is retention marketing. So you need to develop a bias around retention, right? I want you to really print this in your minds. You need to develop a bias around retention and focus on retention more so than acquisition. Because, like I said before, you've been tricked into believing that it's all about acquiring customers at scale and that they'll end up staying no matter what just because your product is good. No. Even Nike does retention marketing. So please start building your infrastructure today if you don't have one, or start optimizing your existing infrastructure, starting today too, because obviously, everything is improvable. If you're not getting at least 20 to 30% of rev from your retention, then there's a problem. Okay. Now, how do you start by creating this, proper infrastructure? Well, you basically start by asking this question here: how are my customers interacting with my brand? Okay. Once they're interacting with my brand, what are the actions that they take? So examples, maybe they add to cart, right? That could be a good one. Maybe they go to the checkout phase. Okay. Maybe they start browsing on your website. Maybe they subscribe to your newsletter. Maybe they're repeat customers, so they come back regularly. Maybe it's a first purchase, so it's a new customer that you just acquired. Maybe they're not really engaged with your customer. So is there a potential or an opportunity to basically bring them back to our brand and re-engage with them, right? Maybe they're very, very engaged and very loyal, right? So these are just a couple of examples, but you see that we can get very, very creative into segmenting our audience and not just focusing on the first the first touch points or acquiring new customers, right? Now, when you define which actions these people take, you want to craft email and SMS experiences around those interactions and make them highly contextual. This will not only boost your email revenue like crazy, but you'll also be able and be in a position to start building intimacy with your customers. This proximity that you'll have with your customers will be unparalleled compared to the proximity that your competitors have with them, for example, right? So a good rule of thumb is to actually have, like I said before, 20 to 30% of rev coming from retention marketing initiatives. And if you can get to that level, if you can nail down your acquisition, if you can nail down your 20 to 30% of rev coming from retention, you'll be in a very, very good position, my friends. Now, these, like I said, now these are the 3 steps that will make it unreasonable for you not to add an extra 100K to your MRR in just a few months. So please do yourself a favor and go implement them right after this video. Like it's really not, it's not easy, but it's simple, right? It's not hard, guys. Like these are really actionable steps that you can implement today. Have your team do it, strategize, and obviously outcompete your competitors, right? Out strategize them, use this framework, build infrastructure on the back end that will guarantee, long-term success for your brand and resilience, and then obviously outcompete your competitors. Now, if you don't want to spend the next few months figuring it out, or if your team is not highly skilled and you want to save time, resources, and capital, you can basically get us to build the infrastructure and manage it for you. But first, we need to make sure that this is a great fit for you, that you're a great fit for us. And so all you need to do, book in the project growth call with me. I'll be in the position to help you, understand this at a much deeper level. I'll also walk you through the process and tailor it to your specific reality, because obviously every single business is different. Every specific situation is different, and so we need to obviously make it tailored to your business. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a pretty long video, but I guess it was very necessary because I see these problems every single week. Like I said, guys, please make sure to implement on this video. If you need help, just contact me. I'll make sure to point you in the right direction and give you further guidance on how to basically scale your business and add an extra million to your revenue in the next few months. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.